Welcome to this tailor-made life. My name is Melissa Taylor, and on this channel, we talk about all things holistic and self-sufficient. I'm going to share just real quickly today about how I got on this journey and a little bit of kind of an intro as to some of the things that I want to talk about here. Different ways of looking at health and wellness, root causes of what we're dealing with in our bodies. There are so many factors that go into our health that we are conditioned to not pay attention to. I read a book in about the year 2013. It's called Clean Gut. And this is the book right here. It's called Clean Gut. And it's Clean Gut, the breakthrough plan for eliminating the root cause of disease and revolutionizing your health. And it's by Alejandro Junger, Junger. And this reading this book was kind of my aha moment. Um, I hadn't been feeling well, and I had been to the doctor, and I knew that something wasn't quite right, but I didn't know exactly what. I was having a lot of back issues, digestive issues, and I just wasn't feeling well. And so when I went to the doctor, what they wanted to do was prescribe medication for my symptoms. But this book, I'm going to read this because um, the first chapter is the root cause of disease. And the gentleman who wrote this book, he is actually a physician. And it says, my first lesson in good medicine came when I was a young boy growing up in Uruguay, many years before I started medical school. It arrived from the unlikeliest of people. I used to follow around a gardener named Fermin as he tended to the plants in our home. I noticed that when he saw an unhealthy tree, he spent most of the time inspecting the roots and the soil around them. He only took a quick glance at the leaves. He would then devise a plan: more water, less water, fertilizer, pest removal, or some other remedy he kept in his gardening toolbox. I always wondered why he wasted his time down there around the roots when the problem was clearly up in the leaves. I mean, I was actually staring at the problem. When I asked Furman why he cared so much about the roots, he simply smiled. Boy, he said, that's the way nature designed it. Your tree's health and disease start in its roots. My first thought at the time, if I remember correctly, was, yeah, whatever, but I couldn't argue with his results. Time and time again, he took care of most of the problems by changing the conditions around the roots. The leaves always returned lush and green. He was a good gardener and he was a wise man. The reason I say this was my first lesson in good medicine is because after 8 years of medical school, 6 years of training, and another 15 years of practice, I came to the conclusion that good medicine is very much like a good gardening. Imagine if you have a tree you love. One day you notice its leaves have turned brown. They will, you understand, soon wither and fall off. Imagine now that you call an expert who, after close examination of the leaves, recommends that you paint them green and attach them back to the branches so the tree can at least appear to be healthy. Everyone will argue that's crazy. If you want to get your tree truly healthy, you can't just cover up the problem. You need to get to the root of it. And just like that, the problem is most likely in the roots. That from this point on, from 2013, when I read this book, the way I take care of myself and my family completely changed. And I began to learn so much about how our bodies were designed, I believe, by God the Father, um, to heal themselves. And I am going to share on this channel what I have learned since 2013 about our body, how it's designed, how it can heal itself, and also the other thing that happened. So, a lot of us want to be on this journey of wellness, um, but it's not an easy journey for most of us because it's not. There's just not a lot known about alternative, well, at least in 2013. It's become more popular now, I think, to choose alternative therapies and healing. Um, but even still, last May, which would be May of 2021, I um, was doing my monthly self exam, breast exam, and I found a lump. And I knew um, that I needed to find out what it was. I went and had thermography, which is an alternate detection to mammography without the radiation. So, thermography um, basically detects heat sources. So, when you have cancer, um, there's heat. There's noticeable heat involved with the cancer cell, and so they're able to detect by doing thermography if there are any heat signatures. And in fact, there were heat signatures in both of my breasts, not just my right breast, which is where I found the lump. So they recommend. So I said, what do I do? What's the next step? And they said, well, you probably need to go to a breast specialist. Well, the whole purpose of me doing thermography was because I didn't have peace about going traditional route of biopsies and basically poking the hornet's nest, um, because I really believed that if something was going on in my body, there was a reason. Okay, I just need to find out why my body wasn't fighting off um, this tumor. So I um, I started praying because I didn't have peace about going the traditionally accepted route. So I prayed and I started calling places and nothing. I was like, God, what do people do if they don't, if they're, what am I supposed to do? What is, what, if I don't have peace about this, then what do I need to do? And, and if I am supposed to go traditional and make that decision to go traditional, then God, give me peace about that, because otherwise I'm stuck. So long story short, and I'll go into more details probably in many following videos, but I want to make this one not forever in a century. So, um, I through prayer and seeking the wisdom of friends around me who are like-minded in their holistic approach to health and wellness, um, I was reminded of a doctor in Houston, Texas, who does epigenetic testing and as well DNA and chromosomal testing, and nanoparticle therapies to to heal people from many different diseases. So I called them and, um, basically gave them, what I had found, that I had the lump and that I had the thermography, which confirmed it. Something was going on. And I needed to know what next steps were and what their process was and what their beliefs were and all of that. So, um, one of the ladies in the office, I had the pleasure of speaking with her, and the first thing she said to me is, "We are about finding the root cause of whatever's going on in your body." And I knew, I knew that that was what I was supposed to do. And so I did. And I prayed because financially, it's not traditional treatment, and so therefore it's not covered by insurance. So God was going to need to provide a way for me to be able to afford treatment, um, and He did. um, and so, I mean, He led me to it, and He provided the way for me to be able to have that treatment. And I am still in treatment for um, the root causes of why my body was, why I was having issues. Um, so then I got tested. So what they do is, it's a DNA test. It's actually a swab that you do, and you send that to them, and they do the gamut of testing, types of testing that they do there. They do, I always forget. So hold on just a second. They do, okay, so Clinic Solutions, Dr. Deb Warner is the doctor. They have a four-part evaluation for DNA, cellular stress, and epigenetics to decode illness and disease. So they do, the first test is the DNA cellular stress. So basically, um, they test to see what's compromising your DNA, what is causing stress. That's like bacteria, viruses, fungus, parasites, Lyme disease, radiation, heavy metals, pesticides. It's the gamut, thousands of things that they test you for. They also do chromosomal testing to see, to test you for any gene mutations. And then the third test is the MTHFR, which is the genetic methylation, so how your body detoxes. And then there's a gene correlation and functionality testing. So that tests all of your tumor suppressing genes to see what is functioning properly and what is not. So all of that was done, and it was very interesting. I had probably 15 pages of results that they sent to me. Um, Basically, there was a lot that was going on. But all that to say, I started the nanoparticle and the treatment protocol that was recommended for everything that was going on. As well, um, I found, so what was going on with me. Um, so I had deficiencies in amino acids, vitamin D, niacin, B3. I had low secretin and low pepsin. So my digestive system wasn't working properly. I wasn't breaking down anything in my digestive system. So I wasn't absorbing any nutrients, basically. I had horrible fungus, mold, radiation, Lyme infection, vaccine excipients, chromium 6, which is the only chromium that you don't want, glyphosate, Roundup, yes, heavy metals, several plastic residues that were clogging my lymph nodes, so I couldn't get rid of things. I had 52 environmental and 89 food substance allergens. So, and that was just the toppers. Um, the chromosome testing for the gene mutations, I had one gene mutation, and it was the GLA gene, which basically this enzyme is acts as the recycling center within the cells. Degraded as a part of the normal recycling of our old red blood cells and other types of cells, but I was not breaking those down. So I wasn't getting rid of, um, and basically my recycling center was overloaded. So, um, anyway, then the MTHFR testing, the genetic methylation, she said the good news is all of your methylating genes are working, so that's good. So my body was able to detox, it just wasn't. And then my gene correlation and functionality tests. So they test for over 40 different tumor suppressing genes, and to see if they're functioning and at what level. So I had two of my tumor suppressing genes that were not functioning like they should be. The BAP1 was not functioning at all, and my BRCA was only functioning at 70%. So I had my the BRCA2 gene that was only functioning at 70%. And then the BAP1 wasn't functioning. And that is the tumor suppressing gene that keeps, my understanding, that keeps that tumor from growing too rapidly. So I had fast replicating breast cancer, and it confirmed it through the testing. Um, so that's when I started the protocols. And the purpose of the protocol was to heal, to get rid of the fungus, to get rid of the mold, to get rid of all of the toxins, to get rid of the root cause of why my body wasn't able to function properly and get rid of the cancer cells. And it has been working. Currently, so it's August now, a year later, a year and a couple months later, I do not have breast cancer anymore. And I have issues. I have pathology in in my liver and possibly pancreas. Um, but even that pathology is almost gone. Um, so, and it's not just it's I've learned so much about getting the toxins out, about the epigenetics, um, about the functioning of the body, how it's supposed to function, how it's supposed to detox, and what might be keeping it from doing those things. um, we've got our colon, our liver, our bile ducts, we've got our organs and our tissues, we have our lymphatic system, and we have the cells of our body, and they all work together. But when they detox in a way that if one of those isn't working, if one of those systems isn't working properly, it gets stuck. And so not only have I been doing protocol treatment with Clinic Solutions, but I have also been learning about how my body is supposed to function, how it's supposed to recycle the cells, and how it's supposed to detox. And, I had a parasite, I had an amoeba, and I don't know that I've gotten rid of it yet, but I've been doing um, I have done cleanses. You name it, I've done it. And I'm going to share with you how I did it, why I did what I've done, and one of the reasons why I have started learning about homesteading and suburban homesteading and why I have my own garden is because organic food is flippin' expensive. And I knew that I needed to change every part of my life, the way I was handling stress, the way that I was handling my emotions, because emotions are a stressor on your DNA. Um, how to deal with the traumas in my life. Now, mind you, 2020, February of 2020, I lost my husband. He died, and then everything shut down with the vid, and it was a struggle. There were a lot of things that came up from my past that I ended up having to deal with. All of that to say, um, it's not surprising that, you know, at 53, or 52 at the time, I had something some things I needed to deal with in my body. Um, so the reason I'm learning how to preserve the foods that I grow, the reason I'm learning how to um, can and dehydrate and all of those things is because I need to be able to take care of my body, and food matters. What you put in your body, it matters to your health. Sugar feeds cancer. So the first thing, honestly, one of the first things I did was I got rid of sugar right away. And I don't miss it um at all. Um Increase my protein. There's so much I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to take it step by step by step. So there's so much, there's the faith component, there's the food and how you source your food component, and there's how do I heal my body. um and so little is shared about how to get our body functioning the way God intended. Um, I refuse to be a victim of my DNA. The one thing that when my husband was sick, he, the doctors would say, is this genetic? He had diabetes. And they would ask him, is this genetic? And he's like, well, yeah, it's genetic. I'm like, are you going to ask him what he's eating? Because everybody in his family is eating the same thing. Maybe that's why they make the same choices, they eat the same food. Is it really genetic? Mm, is it? Or is it epigenetic? Is it a generational curse of eating things that don't serve our body's health? Um, so we're going to talk about all of that, epigenetics. Um, but I wanted this to be just a real short intro, and I've gone on forever. But these are all the things that I want to share with you because I literally have been putting these puzzle pieces together for the last year of things that I started learning back all the way in 2013. And they're now fitting together and making sense. And God has given me a very clear vision about how these pieces fit together, and I can't wait to share it all with you. So let's do this. Thank you so much for watching today. I know that it's a little bit long, but um, I just appreciate that you spent this time with me, and If you got something out of this, or you're looking forward to hearing the process I've been through and the things that I've learned about faith, about holistic wellness, or about this suburban homesteading life I kind of have fallen into. And subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that bell as well, so that anytime I post something, you get a notification. And so I'm getting everything organized. I am so excited to start sharing what I have been learning with you all. And thanks again, and have a great day.